Hey everybody, this is Ori from AstroWeb, and I want to introduce the basics of search engine optimization, or SEO. So first of all, I created this document which you can review and you can look at it, but I wanted this video to add a little bit. So we're going to go over the document, and I'll give you some examples and some extra tips. Okay, so first of all, what is search engine optimization? Search engine optimization is a type of marketing that involves both real marketing and technical requirements in order to improve your website in the search engines result pages. Okay, so if your website is trying to your website or your business is selling a specific product, you would like for certain terms that potential customers search for that are related to your business, you would like to rank for it. Okay, so for example, if our company is web design, right? We do web design. Anytime a customer searches for the term web design, for example, we would like to appear on the first page in the results. So that's kind of the basic idea. So what you would do is you would like to rank as a business, as a website, you would like to rank for the terms that are relevant for you, terms that are relevant for conversions. So, what is the price of a web design? I want a web design now, terms like that. And also terms that are, for example, informational. So what do I need to know about web design? Or, what is the best platform for me? So informational, research, direct actions, purchasing, and many, many others. So there's a lot of intentions that the customers can actually search for, different ideas, different mindsets, different flows, etc. So what we want to do for SEO is we want to optimize our website and off website, which we'll talk about, in order to get better rankings, to get more business, more traffic to your website, and then hopefully convert them into whatever your business does. Okay, so let's look at a typical page right now of a result page, and then I'm gonna kind of go back and forth on a few ideas. So first of all, I just searched for a term, for example, called web design. When I did that, there's a lot of different types of results on this page. So first of all, the first three, 1, 2, and 3, they're all ads. If you see right here, there's an ad. So this is not SEO. This is ad spending, ad campaigns. This is SEM, right? So my marketing for ads. So the first ones are ads. So SEO does not cover this, right? The next ones, these are what we call the local listings or the Google places, right? So these show, so Google decided that whenever someone searches, or when I search for the word web design, after the ads, the first results are going to be the local ads. So maybe Google understood that as my intention from this search term, maybe I want to go to a local business to work with them, right? So they put this here. And then below that are what we call the organic. These are the traditional SEO listings in the result page, ranking number 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So in order to do SEO, traditionally you would want to rank your website in this list. But because there's other things above it, you don't want to discard that, because even if you're number 1 here in organic listings, you're still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, number 7, right? Even if you're number 1, which is always very difficult. So you want to consider the different types of results, right? So there could be video results, there could be, side business results, or informational results, local results, videos, images, etc. So you want to kind of basically select your keywords that you want to try to rank for, and then do some evaluation, some analysis about it. Okay, so let's kind of go back a little bit to some of the basics. Okay, so first of all, in the introduction, as you can see, we introduced a search engine. So all the major search engines, I'm going to use Google for this video example, but Baidu and Yandex and Yahoo and etc. etc. So one of the things that is very important to understand about the search engines is they're just a basic, normal business, right? Their business is to get more people to come to use it, and eventually they're going to spend some money or click on an ad or do something that is going to bring some monetary value for the business, right? So Google in this case, they want, when people search for something, they want to provide the best results no matter what. Why do they want to provide the best results? Because they're a business that they want long-term value. And if a customer gets good results today, they're going to come back tomorrow. And the longer they use their service, the more money they're going to make from people, right? Very, very simple. So how do they judge quality? How do they know that when I search for the word web design, they're going to rank, for example, these three and then these ones? Why is Wikipedia the first organic, Behance is the second one, etc., etc.? Okay, so what the search engines are going to do is they need to create code and algorithms. So this code that will decide what is of quality, right? So over the years, they've have hundreds and hundreds of different decisions on what is a quality website. So they're trying to understand, what do humans want from this result? What are the best websites? What are the best web pages for the terms that people are searching for? Okay, if I search for web design definition, then obviously I'm getting these very specific, you see Technopedia and Wikipedia, I'm getting just definitions. This is clearly a research term, right? I'm not trying to do business or find a company that does web design. I'm trying to understand the definition, right? So Google wants to understand that, and they use hundreds of different points to understand what your website is about, what's of quality, what do people want to see, and then how do people interact with these websites. Okay, so we're going to go over them. But in general, the search engines, even for ads and even for organic, they're always trying to get the best quality, because if they don't do the best quality, customers will go somewhere else. Okay, even if someone pays a lot for ads, for example, which is outside the topic of this video, if people pay for ads, but Google's customers click on it and they hate it, eventually they're going to not use Google anymore, even if Google made some extra bucks on ads. Okay, so they always want to decide quality. Okay, and we'll in the future make a PPC or a cost per a paid campaign one-on-one class as well. Okay, so let's go over about some of the things. So how do the search engines actually work? What are they doing? So we know that you go as a customer and as a consumer, you go to Google, you type in a term and you get results and you click on them, and that's it. How does Google do this stuff? Okay, so let's talk about the basics. First of all, Google crawls the entire web. So there's millions and millions, hundreds of millions of websites. I'm not sure the exact number, but there's many, many websites. Okay, so what they do is they will crawl. They will go just like a browser goes to a website. For example, AstroWeb. We go to a website. It'll find all of the websites online. Once it gets to a website, what it does is it'll basically click on every single link, the first link, second link, third, and it'll visit all of the pages. And on every single page, what it will do is inside the pages, not just in the menu, it'll find links and it'll just keep on following them. Again and again and again, it'll just follow every single link on the page until it understands all of the pages on the website. Okay, so it'll just kind of, very, very slowly, one by one, just follow page by page by page by page. And once it does that, now it has an index. It has a list of all of your pages. And when it follows your pages, it'll basically read all the content. It'll look at the images. It'll look at kind of the design, the layout. It'll definitely look at the code, right? The HTML code, the CSS, the JavaScript. And it'll read the words, the title tags, the forms. It'll understand what is this page doing, right? So it understands language pretty well. And it'll just read all the words here, right? What is the name of the page, and what is the content about? What is the first paragraph, which is usually the more important one? What are the bullet points? What are the links? It'll just follow, and it'll kind of keep in its own database just data about what are these pages about? What are they doing? What's the URL? How fast does it load? Some technologies behind it, status codes, web server things, etc., etc. So once it does that, now it has a index or some information about your website and your web pages and all the details about it. And then what it'll do is it'll continue to follow links and just visit site by site by site by site. So if I link, for example, this page to, let's say, Wikipedia, then from my site, it jumped to Wikipedia, and then it'll go from Wikipedia to other sites, and it'll crawl around the web. But I want to add one more thing, which is mentioned in the document. If you have a new site, no sites have ever linked to you, so Google cannot visit your site. So either you would have to submit your website to Google, or you would have to have some other website linked to you in order to be found, right? Because Google doesn't know about new sites, or theoretically doesn't know, but in general, there's other ways it can know about it, but in general, you submit to Google if you're a new site, and then it'll start crawling you, and it'll always revisit your site. So that's the kind of the first step, right? What it's doing is it goes to your site, indexes it, keeps it in memory, so whenever someone in the future wants to search for a term that's related to you, you may be considered if you're talking about that same topic as the search, right? If your content, for example, is talking about the same search. Okay, so the once the search engines have indexed you, right? So how do you know if they've indexed you? You can go to take your domain name and type in site:/domain name in Google, and you'll be able to see a list of all the number of pages that Google has indexed, has listed in google.com. Okay, so 4,000 pages in this case. Okay, great. So now that the search engines have kind of read you, they're also going to do the same thing for all of the sites. And now they have some data about all the sites online. Anytime someone searches for a term on Google, what they're going to do is consider it in real time, what is the best match, and then they will give you some kind of results, right? So web design. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how Google understands, what is quality, what is not, and how it understands some basic concepts. So when Google visits your page, for example, right? So let me go to English version. Okay, so when it does it, what it's going to do is it's going to look at all the content and all the links and all the images and the design and the code, etc., like mentioned before. And it's going to kind of prioritize some specific data over others. So for example, something that's on the bottom is less visible to customers. So Google understands that it's probably less important, for example, this specific link than, for example, these links, right? So we mentioned that these are more important to us than this tiny, scroll down link. So what it'll do is it'll prioritize a few important things. So I'm going to share a few ideas, and there's a lot more, but these are kind of the more and more important ones. So first of all, the most important thing is it's going to take the title tag, which is the main description of the page, or a short description or short sentence or a phrase about the page, and it's going to know that the SEO title tag that was provided to Google and to the browser, this is probably one of the more important factors to understand what the page is about. So if you write, I am doing web design, for example, you can see here, then the web design is going to be more, Google's going to understand that your page is more about web design than some other things, than, for example, posts. Okay, so title tag is a very important one. The other one is the meta description. What is a meta description? Okay, this is a sentence that you provide to Google to explain the 1 to 2 sentence description about the page you're talking about. So for example, this one right here is AstroWeb's articles about, etc., ABC. So you will provide, this is the title tag, so whatever you provide here in the title will be here. This is the URL, obviously, and this is the meta description. So these fields will directly be shown in the search engine result pages. So whatever you specify are both important for rankings and what customers actually see in order to evaluate, do they want to click on that or not, right? Okay, other things, for example, are headers, right? So big writing that's emphasized to the customers when people go to your website, these have higher priority for SEO, okay? The way every single image should have alt tags. So the way you reference, for example, in an image, Google can fairly understand images, we believe, but what you can do is you can tag images with certain words to explain what the image is about. So search engines understand a little bit better what the image is. Okay, so you can say this is an image about ERP, for example. This is an image about social media. This is an image about Magento certification. Okay, so let's see a few other things that are important. Okay, Obviously, any other content, not just words and images, also videos, for example, animated GIFs, or any other things, Google will understand and try to understand what they're about, okay? Some other things that are very important are user experience. So does your website load fast? Are your customers able to go to the website and load it quickly and use it easily? Are there any bugs? Does sometimes the website break? Is there downtime? Things like that. So some technology and some basic user experience. Can customers find the pages they're looking for, the content they're looking for, the products they're looking for in a very easy way? These are all factors for search engine optimization for the search engines. Okay, so this is everything we talked about right now is on-site. Okay, so on-site is the way you make your website, the way you write your content, the way you design, the way you make the technology work, you make the website responsive and fast. These are important. The other thing for SEO, which is the much more difficult one, which is the more deciding factor on difficult industries, on more competitive industries, are offsite. What does that mean, offsite? Offsite means it is a way for other websites to vote for you, to show to Google, Yahoo, Bing, all the search engines, which websites are more valuable. So if you have just a basic site, it's a new site, and you made a beautiful site and a very good SEO optimized site, Google won't rank you, the search engines won't rank you very well because no other websites have voted for you. So for example, if I have a website and it's new and no one has linked to me, but I have another website, a competitor website, which I have very big mentions from big companies, maybe for example, I don't know, CNN and certain newspapers and certain blogs and certain industries. If they've linked to me, if they've talked about me online, if they mentioned my website, they've let their customers and their visitors come to my website via a link, right? So a link is just a click from one website to the other, right? So if more and more websites have linked to me, that shows from Google's standpoint that they have voted that I'm a quality website. And in short, the more websites link to you, the better you are SEO optimized. But in addition to just the numbers, having more websites, the quality of the websites and what the websites are talking about have a lot to do with how you receive this value about voting, right? So for example, if I'm a web design company and another web design company links to me and talks about something interesting I did, maybe a case study or something like that, I will get more value from an SEO standpoint than if, for example, just a basic website that talks about, you know, whatever, dog walking will link to me. So if it's more relevant to your industry and to what your website does, you'll get more value. If it's a higher quality website, you're going to get more value, right? And if it's not relevant, it's a low quality site, you'll get less value, but you will get some value, okay? Those are kind of the really, really basics of on-site and off-site, okay? So let's see a few other things right here. So we talked about the search engine, result pages, okay. So we talked about some of the concepts of on-site and the concepts of off-site, okay? In addition to, one more thing I want to add about on-site itself. So when the search engines go to your website, they read your content. You know, they understand languages pretty well. What you can do in addition to make it more and more clear is you can provide some very specific HTML tags that define some of the content in a structured way, in a way that search engines prefer to receive and to read data. If you just write a sentence, for example, right here, excuse me, let's go here. If you write a sentence, for example, right here, search engines can understand it very well. But if you structure the data in a specific way, they will understand it slightly better. So the search engines have defined some standards, and it's basically called structured data or schema, right? So schema, you can go here, schema.org, and these are standards defined and pretty much shared by, you know, you see Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, Yandex, etc. And what they do is they define some standards of how you can code something. So, give you an example. Let's say you have a product and you have an e-commerce website. So if you code your product information in a certain way that is defined by this, For example, you can define like let's give an example here. So you can define anytime you mention on the page a SKU, you wrap it in a very specific way to say this is the SKU, this is the weight, this is the width, this is the price, this is the name, this is the image, etc. So if you do that, you define your HTML in a certain way, then the search engines can for sure understand what it's about, right? If you don't do that, the search engines may or may not understand what the price is, what the main images are, what the sub image is, etc. So if you use structured data, you can really enhance both the understanding of the search engines, thus trying to increase your SEO optimization. And another thing that the search engines do very well is if you provide structured data, they also allow you to potentially change your search engine result page. So if you remember right here, the typical result is title tag, URL, meta description, okay? But sometimes if you provide structured data, you have the chance to have some additional information. So let's see, for example, let's see, Apple, for example, okay? And let's find some structured data examples. Okay, let me actually just show you here. So for example, if you have a product, if you have a product right here, let me enlarge this a little bit. This is again our title tag, our URL, and our meta description. But some results, for example, could have a rating and a price range. This is clear structured data that you can provide the actual ratings of this specific product and the price, for example. And you can do many more things. This is just one example that's very common that we do. Another one, for example, could be breadcrumbs, which you've seen right here. So for example, most of them show a URL, for example, right here, right? So title tag, URL, meta description. But what you can do is if you do have breadcrumbs, for example, and let me see here, you can show it in a different way so customers can see the relevance, not just a plain URL, but they can see the breadcrumbs, you know, category to category or page to page, some relationship, and it might be more relevant to customers, okay? So schema, and it has many different things. So you can define your organization, a specific event, products, reviews, restaurants, recipes, things like that, and they're always coming out with more and more things. So you want to code your website in a structured data way in order to enhance your search engine result pages and in order to provide more accurate data to the search engines, thus getting some advantage or some potential advantage for search engines. Okay, so that's kind of the idea of it. So basically, I just want to explain kind of one last part right here. So what is a search engine optimization person do? What are they trying to do all the time? So in short, someone that does SEO, they want to try to further and get more exposure and more traffic to their website, right? They want to get more people for the relevant terms that your business wants to target to come to your website and then convert. So what does the SEO typically do? First of all, what they want to do is they want to do keyword research. They want to find the most relevant terms that they think customers will search in Google, Yahoo, Bing, etc. And that business would like to rank for, to get business from, to get traffic from. So they're going to do keyword research. They're going to put those terms in a keyword tool, and they're going to monitor the rankings of their website and which pages rank for those terms. And then they're going to optimize. They're going to change the content. They're going to do marketing efforts. They're going to do outreach and partnerships. And they're going to create very cool content that people want to share so they can get more links. And they're going to add more content, and they're going to optimize the title tags and the headers and the images and all of these things. And they're going to constantly check, do work, and check the rankings improvement, and do work and check, etc., just nonstop, always optimizing. It's a very, very, very basic thing. So just to summarize things, SEO is about finding the right keywords you want to rank for and optimizing for them, right? Making a good user experience, because the search engines, although we optimize for the search engines in SEO, we're actually optimizing for users, for our customers, for our business, because search engines are figuring out what do customers, what do real humans want. If you only optimize for search engines, you might get traffic in the short term, but you will not convert because customers will be annoyed at seeing some very specific content and a website that is only made for search engines, not humans, right? So you want to optimize for humans, you want to have a good user experience, you want to be able to make it very easy to find information on your website or buy or whatever your business is doing. You want to write good content, you want to optimize, do some technical things like the structured data, have a very fast website, and you want to optimize and do some real marketing efforts with really good content on your site, blogging, resources, and just writing very, very well and doing some good content, videos, infographics, images, etc., etc. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be very happy to go into full detail on any questions you want for SEO and go over technical, non-technical, link building strategies, anything you would like. Appreciate the time. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.